Pulls out this little packet and it was completely closed. And it took for more than $300.
Bill was like £120.
Go to the police station and
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but that's your solution.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Evelyn and today we have a new video about a scam in Cuba, a scam for tourists in Havana. I will be sharing with you what to watch out when you are traveling in Havana and Cuba. And thanks to our guests, yes, we have 3 guests today and they will be sharing with us their experience because what seemed like a simple trip to Cuba changed their way to see the life. Why still the end? Because I think their reaction will surprise you and their advice will be useful for you. So, let's play the video. We have here to Emily. Emily was our guest. Emily, you are from Canada.
Yes.
Let us to know what's happened in Cuba with your really expensive shoes.
One day I decided to get a pair of shoes because my feet was hurting. I've been in the street and I asked a guy to get one pair of shoes and he said he had a friend. So there was a big shop in the street, like normal, that looks normal. He talked with a man. I found a pair of shoes, which are those. I didn't have the money right now. I was just looking. So I told him I need to go get the money. At first, he was saying it's $150 US, which is really expensive for a pair of fake Nike, you know. But I was so hurt that I said, like, I'm gonna buy it anyway. I went with him to get the money, but like my bank only accepts 5 times to get money, you know.
Okay.
So, and I said I only have $100. So he said, oh, no problem. Come with me. We're gonna get 1 bottle of rum. And I came with him. I've been to the shop, and when I came to the shop, I saw the bottle of rum. I paid with my card, but before he talked with the woman, and I didn't understand anything. But anyway, like I paid, but when I turned back, I look, there was like maybe 5 packs of like cans of beer and stuff like that. And I asked him, is it for you? He said, yeah, it's for later. But I didn't know that I paid for it. In the morning, I look at my credit card and it took for more than $300 of beer and the rum and everything. So he robbed me. So I had to go to the police station and I talked to the police. We've been to the place and at the end, like the guy paid like $50 US, the guy who had the shop, and all of the other money, he kept it for himself. So the police couldn't do anything, you know, they tried to, but they couldn't do anything. Because it's not the guy who had the shop, the problem, that was the other guy.
If you have some advice for people who come to Cuba about this scam,
you have to ask somebody like that you really trust, maybe like people like that have like the guest house or anything. Like you have to ask somebody that you really trust over here to go with you and to show you the place to be safe, because like you cannot trust anybody in the street, because at the beginning they're gonna be really nice to you. They even gonna pay you lunch, pay you coffee, but like after like 1 or 2 days it's gonna be the reverse. Like they're gonna trick you in so many ways. That's my story.
Here are 2 guests. Her name is Marcia and Nives. Marcia is from Italy and Nives is from Slovenia.
Sí. Hola! And on Saturday morning we went to a Texa, which in Cuba is the authorized shop where you can buy SIM card and data. And then we went into Texa and we asked for SIM card. And the lady looked at me and said, no SIM card, no SIM card. And just, we want to buy a SIM card. And then she was like, no SIM card, we don't have any. And so then we went out of the shop and we didn't know what to do. And
at which point a random stranger literally passes by and says, do you need a SIM card? And I said, yeah, sure. So he pulls out this little packet and it was completely closed.
So try the SIM card, it worked, no problem. And obviously we then asked for one more for yourself.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, we obviously needed more data. So in Cuba, you buy tarjeta, which is like data on top of your SIM card. He's taken us to this little shop to another guy named Raul, if you're watching this. And basically, I think I paid like £20 to top up the data. And then my phone had like 10 gigabytes, no problem.
Everything worked for a few days.
Yeah.
And then after 5 days or so, as she started receiving calls in the
Yeah.
morning. So and she told me, oh my God, what are these numbers? I'm not going to pick up the phone
Yeah.
and not going to pick up the calls.
I blocked all the numbers just in case, but that's just, it's
we
what I
were
would
like,
do anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
we received calls also in the UK. But then what happened was after a few hours, her SIM card was totally blocked. So no service, not working anymore. Mine kept working for another 2 days, but then on Friday also stopped working. So this basically meant that we paid for SIM cards, we paid for data, nothing is working. We don't have any internet at the moment. I don't have any internet at the moment, so we need to look for places that have Wi-Fi so I can connect. And Evelyn has been also very helpful with the hotspot. But yeah, that's how they are basically scammed us with the SIM cards.
I think they block it and then they resell it again on the market. So I guess, I mean, to be honest, like you're not going to get a SIM card off the government. So your option, a win-win situation is you pay them twice for 2 SIM cards. But that's
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but that's your solution if you want to be online, because there's no shop to actually buy a normal official SIM card, right? So you gotta play the black market.
So the other story is we got scammed with tobacco and also free lunch to this guy actually, which was quite expensive. We were walking and at some point one of these guys with the pictures of the tour, the car tour, stopped us and he started asking us, where are you from? Where did you arrive? And we said we are from England and we arrived yesterday. And yeah, we might be interested in the tour. But we don't want to do it now. We said, okay, today is not going to happen because we have other things to do, maybe tomorrow. It was offering us other things to do. And so what he offered us was, first of all, that on that day, Saturday, it was the last Saturday of the month. And so that basically meant that you could get cigars for really, really cheap price, more than 50% discount. Only because it was the last Saturday of the month, and only because you could buy through the cooperatives, right? And so it was very cheap. And then the second thing that he offered was, let me show you where you can buy the best coffee in Havana. I will just walk you there. You can sit down, have your coffee. You don't owe me anything. It's just, just because I'm a nice person, I'm gonna walk you there and sit down. I was just following him and just going to this cafe. He showed us money. He showed us like he had a lot of money, so he didn't want money from us. So it was like, I have very good intentions. I just wanted to make sure that you are comfortable and you can get the best coffee in Havana.
Yeah, also it was his birthday. So if in Havana, if somebody tells you it's their birthday
it's probably
today,
not true.
It's probably not true. Yeah.
But actually how it ended up was we sat down at this bar.
But do you remember the name of the bar?
El Pirata, La Pirata. La
Very
Pirata.
nice bar.
Close to the
Yeah.
cathedral.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know
very
the
nice
place.
lemonade.
So very nice lemonade. We ordered just a lemonade because it was very hot. We sat down and we were talking, right? And this guy disappeared. And then,
out of nowhere, around the corner, another guy shows up, and the lady that works there, I mean, retrospectively, I'm assuming she's aware of all of this.
yes.
She basically asked us, hey, it's a table. It was a table outside. And she said, look here, it's a custom that we share tables. And I thought it's not that much different to England.
Yeah.
It happens as well. And we were like, okay, no problem. He can sit on the other side. And then he starts talking to us. And one of the first things he said to me was like, I saw you at the airport. I saw you at the airport yesterday. And I didn't say anything because I thought that's a bit weird. And he looks at me, he goes, were you at the airport yesterday? And I said, I don't know, maybe. We get into a conversation. He pays for his own drink. We pay for our own drink, no problem.
Sure.
And then he says he's going to show us around. And we're like, sure, no problem. At which point I thought this is all a story, right? So like, I don't know. I don't think of it as whether it's a truth or a lie. It's a story you're going to tell me and we're going to enjoy this experience. Because the reality is, without him as a tourist guide, we wouldn't necessarily see the things we saw, right? If you get an official tourist guide, they're not going to show you what he showed us. So we had a good idea of what Havana really is, of all of these secret corners of how the black market works, of
And those
how they live,
pharmacies, right?
Correct.
He brought us at the pharmacy and you showed us that, for example, there is a total lack of any type of medicine. And he let us speak with the pharmacist there, right? So he kind of showed us really what Havana is. and
Yeah,
how
like the
people
food
live.
allocations, they've got these papers where each month they're allocating a certain amount of food. So I wouldn't learn any of that without him, to be fair. And he told us a lot about the government and, how the country in general works. So for me, it was a good experience.
Yeah.
But we were kind of, half aware that it's also a story, right? It's a story that he wants to live, but we'll try to play it as we go along.
And then he took us at the market where we could buy souvenirs. He showed us around. One of the things that he also told us is the same thing that the other guy told us, which is today is the last Saturday of the month, and so you can get cigars very, very cheap from the cooperative. It was two people telling us the same story, and I believed him. And I said, okay, look, I need to buy cigars for my dad so I can bring them back home. And so he started walking, and he went into this house with two men where they showed basically us these big boxes, very nice boxes in wooden with 25 cigars in. And they asked us for 150 pounds, saying that it's very cheap because it's 25 cigars and usually one cigar is 25 pounds, right? So 150 was very cheap. We didn't have enough money with us. So we said, look, we can, if you want, we can come by later and just pay you later and buy the cigars. And then they started saying, no, because we close at 2, we need to go, we will not have time later. And then we started negotiating and we went out to 90 pounds, something like that.
Yep.
That's what we paid for the box. And they showed us that, the box was then closed. They put on the
Government approved sticker.
Yeah, the sticker of the government, and they said you can put it in the bag at the airport, and you can go with that because you are allowed to bring 2 per person. So I was very happy. Went back, on the tour with my cigars, and for me it was amazing because I just bought a very cheap cigars for my dad. It was around 1 p.m., so we were very hungry, and we asked him to bring us to a restaurant so we could eat. And we agreed, the two of us, that we would pay for his lunch because it was very nice, and he guided us through Cuba.
Yeah, and it was hours of this tourist guide,
it
right?
was
Which
at
is
least 3-4 hours.
at least. I think that was probably his intention, is to get a free lunch. Her and I thought that that's still, for our standards of the way I guess we live our lives, that was okay. Does that make sense?
And so then he started walking and he went to this restaurant, which is San Lorenzo. And then we went up and he started ordering food. We ordered our, let's say, our meal. And then he started ordering more stuff, ordering mojito and more stuff. And he ordered, without telling us, he ordered lobster, which is actually very expensive. While we ordered, not, let's say, cheaper food, like normal food. We opened the wallet, and of course we didn't have, they only wanted efectivo, so cash. They didn't accept card, saying, okay, can you ask them if you can pay by card because we don't have enough cash. And then they said, no, we only accept cash. So you can go back to your place, take cash, and then come back and pay. But someone from the restaurant is going to come with you. And at that point, I was a bit pissed off because the bill was like 120 pounds for the 3 of us. We didn't have enough cash. He didn't offer, of course, to pay anything or to put any money in to help us to get to that 120. And so what we did was we went downstairs. I waited with them downstairs because I didn't want them to see where we live. So Neves just came here, took the money, came back, we paid.
And then in pounds?
In pounds, yes.
Yep.
And then the guy was like, well, it's been very nice. Thank you for the lunch. Hope to see you soon.
Look, I think for the overall experience, we thought that, I think it's you gotta play the black market. So they will win, but you can win as well. So if you want a tourist guide experience, then that's what it comes at. But we had a really good time.
Yeah.
So,
I'm happy that this happened on the first day we were here. Because then, speaking with Evelyn, we explained everything and she told us how things work. And then from the day after, we have been very much more careful and we have also been more relaxed.
Yeah,
because we know
yeah.
what to expect, right?
Yeah.
If someone stops us, we know what to expect. In the past 10 days, everything has been fine.
Yeah, we had an amazing experience, but like you have to get into a mindset of what you hear and see isn't what the reality is. Like
Yeah.
perception is reality type. So if you become okay with that, if you accept that this is a story, that that's the culture, that that's the way they live their lives, you're gonna have a really good time, and you'll be okay with, oh, actually, I'm getting scammed, but in exchange, I'm getting an experience. I'm getting a SIM card that works for 4 days. Or by the way, if I try to find an official one, I'm not going to get 4 days of data. I will have nothing. So you can think of it, this is a scam, or you can think of it, actually, this is just the way society works, and I'll try to find my way within that and have a good time.
How was the best important thing for you after this week? Or the, I don't know, the more interesting thing?
The reality. So how people really live, right? Because I could see on Instagram or on internet all the pictures about Havana, how amazing that is, you know. But the reality is that people live in very poor conditions, right? People like here, they queue early in the morning, like 3, 4 a.m. in the morning to buy bread. Bread is not always there. They don't have milk. The simple things we are used to, they are not here in Havana. So I think the reality of how people live, it's what I'm gonna bring back home, and I'm gonna be more aware when I'm back home of how lucky I am, of just appreciating more what I have, right? Understanding that people don't have it.
And this is positive thing.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's the level of gratitude we're probably walking away with. So going home and probably seeing what we've taken for self-granted in a very different light. I think through, even we had some bad experiences, I think it really come to light what the power of a community means, because in Cuba, everyone helps each other. Sure, there's some sort of a weird system where even neighbors are trying to scam each other. But I think if you're okay with that, you can see how this power of community brings people together, but we can also work together to have a better life. Whilst particularly in England, it's very much, you know, I'm an individual. I don't need other people to live my life. This is, I'm in my little bubble. I'm in my little box. So for me, like coming from that, I'll definitely learn that, and I'll kind of try to incorporate that in our lives.
Definitely stay in Havana, experience as much as you can. Just get into the Havana Vieja, so the whole part of Havana, because that's where you will experience the poverty and the real life. And then if you manage to also travel, we had an amazing day in Viñales. We did horse riding and went to this family who cooked for us. And I think that's also a good way of experiencing what has Cuba has to offer.
Yeah, and it gives you probably a realistic picture of who Cubans really are. Because when you live in Havana, it's probably similar to other bigger cities, but it's very city-like. Everyone's on the go. Everyone's trying to, you know, scam each other and all of that. You go on the outskirts, you get a very different idea of what Cuba actually is. And it's probably what we've all seen on TV. We've all been aware. It's amazing. It's the mountains, the caves, the nature, and the people are just very genuine. But you have to go outside of Havana for that. And I think that kind of wrapped up the whole experience. It was definitely the best one.
So definitely go and explore Cuba.
Thank you for coming again, and just I hope to see you in the future.
Thank you.